Oh, here we are. Hey, guys. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Riffin with Griffin. And let's do it. Yeah. Welcome back to your favorite podcast. Riffin with Griffin, yeah. Whoa, whoa. Yeah, yeah. Riffin with Griffin. Riffin with Griffin, yeah. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Yeah, yeah. Welcome back to Riffin with Griffin. We are live and in full effect on YouTube. Riffin with Griffin Wednesdays. Today's episode. I rarely talk about gaming stuff on the main podcast, but let's do it. I think I broke up with Call of Duty. Let's talk about it. Battlefield 6. Plus I saw Jurassic World. Plus just news and notes from around. Some thoughts about some things, but welcome back to Riffin with Griffin. Yeah. Whoa, whoa, yeah, yeah. Welcome back to Riffin with Griffin, y'all. I'm glad you're here. As always, I appreciate you. Make sure you hit the sub button, man. If you don't hit the sub button, you're never gonna know that I went live. So hit that sub button. Twitch, you know, I'm still a gamer. I read a thing that it said when you're over 50 and you game, it slows your brain aging by 10 years. So I'm out here saving my life, y'all. Saving my life one game at a time. So thanks for that. And my Patreon people, I appreciate you. Thanks for being here as always. You guys have been, a joy. I love the support. I appreciate the support. Let's keep it going. All right, y'all. Riffin with Griffin. Let me see what we got going on here. So thanks for being here, guys, on the tube. You know what I mean? Back on Riffin with Griffin. Didn't have an episode last week because I just been busy, guys. As you know, I'm shooting a movie right now. I'm editing a special. I directed another Matt Rife special, so that's coming out on the 2nd of December. So we are like in crunch time right now. I've been doing that. I just been doing a lot of work. You know what I mean? Just been doing a lot of work, and I'm busy. People don't know, I love, I love acting. I was at the Comedy Store last night, and I was talking with another comic, and I really, I love stand-up comedy. I'm always going to love stand-up comedy. I love doing stand-up comedy, but what I don't love is the business of stand-up comedy. It's like, it's something that I don't know. If I had to be honest about it, it's just like, it's not something I enjoy. Like this marketing and like putting up clips, and it's the only way people come to your shows. It's a weird thing. It's like, so it's as if like people don't care if you're funny or not. They don't care about the art form of stand-up comedy. They just care that you've captured their attention. And then they're like, oh, I like how you captured my attention, so now I want to come see you perform. So then it's like, well, what if the person, I don't know. I just think you're missing out on let me make sure I'm trying to fix my mic here, but fuck it. I just don't know. I don't know. It's kind of frustrating, but it is what it is. And I don't want to sound like I'm old. I mean, it's not even about being old so much as it's about being like, I really care about the art form of stand-up comedy. Well, I thought that's what it was about, so I love doing comedy. It's like, no shade on that. I love doing comedy, and I'm a great comic, but that doesn't do me any good. I realize. I just come from an era where I thought that that's what it was. It was like, oh man, you write great jokes, you perform well, and then you get out there and people are going to be, the word's going to spread. But it's just not how it works. It's sad, actually. Yeah, for the art form of stand-up comedy, it was what I'm saying, And then you have these people out here who, like, you know, they might sell out on sell out some huge thing, thinking like, well, this means I'm good at comedy, and it's like, well, no, I think it means that you're good at convincing people to come watch you. But you know, and then for the people, it doesn't really matter. Actually, that's another thing too that I have to like come to grips with too. It's like people are like, hey, I like this guy and I want to be in the same room with him, or I like this girl. I just want to be in the same room. I want to be here and enjoy what they're doing, regardless if I think they're really super funny or not, or if I think someone else is super funny. I mean, I can't dictate how people want to hear the message, you know? So that's why that's the thing I love about acting. The thing I love about acting is I think a large percentage of why you book a job is your talent. You know, I think that's because you have to be able to do the job. You know what I'm saying? Like with stand-up comedy, I realize you don't actually have to do the job at a high level to get people to come watch you or to maintain a fandom. You know, they just like you at whatever it is you're doing, and that's the level they like it at. So they don't care. They don't need to see. But when you're on a movie set and you have to emote emotions and you have to be in the moment, and then you have the director and the editor and the producers and the grips and the sound and the lighting, and it's like this, you know, it takes a village, right? Everybody's working. You know, you have to actually be able to do it. So I think, you know, and of course there's people that are just famous and they put people in things, but then you see those people and sometimes you go, ooh, that guy's not a good actor. I mean, you could still say that. Acting, you could still have that judgment. Acting, you could still be like, oh, that person, oh, I didn't believe that person. And it's okay to say that because that's what you see. Stand-up comedy, it actually doesn't matter as much, you know? So that's why I get such a thrill out of doing when I get acting work. You know, anytime I get acting work, because I feel like, man, somebody has acknowledged that, you know, I did this good, if not great. You know what I mean? So stand up, I know I'm great at stand up. I can't toot my own horn enough, man. You ask any comic that you love that knows me, they're not going to be like, yeah, that guy. Nah, they know. They don't want to follow me. You know what I'm saying? Let's do it. I don't care who they are. They can sell out stadiums. I don't give a rat's ass, man. It's just, I let the business of comedy pass me by, and it sucks. But I'm still doing it. I'm still happy. I don't, you know, comparison's the thief of joy. I always say that. I just was thinking about it last night when I was talking to another comic, and I was just realizing, because I just was like, oh man, this just sucked that it has to be about this. Because then you see like a person walk in who's like, you know, an influencer. You know what I mean? And you're just like, yuck. But you know, you gotta evolve. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not blaming them. It's like that's on me. I just don't know how to evolve. You know what I mean? I thought it was doing podcasts and all this kind of stuff, but my little, you know, look, my 27 people watching me right now, I'm not even doing this right. So it's like, this may not be for me, you know? But as long as I have a place to perform, and speaking of a place to perform, this weekend I'm going to be at the Howler Comedy Club in Lincoln, Nebraska, and then I'm going to be in Austin, Minnesota on Saturday, and then I'll be at Skankfest on Sunday. So big weekend for doing stand-up. I love Skankfest, so make sure if you're in New Orleans, you gotta go to Skankfest, man. That sucker is fun. It's like that's such a good comedy hang. So, anyways, somebody said, "What happened to worst fire team ever?" I don't know. You ask, yeah, I don't know what happened to them. So, anyways, let's go to, wait, what's this right here? Oh, what did I do? Wait, no, we got to go to content. Wait, what's going on here, everybody? Oh, here's my dashboard. All right, let's go to see if we have any more comments this week. Let's see what kind of comments we got going on. And I do appreciate you guys watching the show and supporting the show and doing all that you do. Somebody said, Inspur something, whatever. Wemby is him. Dylan Harper will be Rookie of the Year, and six man go Spurs go. Yeah, I think the Spurs are looking good. I mean, I agree. I mean, Wemby looks like the truth. It's just, I just hope he stays healthy. He looks brittle. You know what I mean? He just does. He just looks like a brittle man. I hope that they strength train, and that's just brutal. I feel like someone's going to undercut him. I feel like, you know what I mean? I hope he stays healthy all year for all of us. That'll be good for basketball. Let's see. Oh, and then, you know what? And shout out to Mav Miller. Big, you know what? Big fan of the show. I met him and his beautiful wife. They're pregnant. They came out to my Chicago show at the Den. Cool dude, and he's making a comment. It was cool meeting you at the Den tonight, and you know, he grew up in Cedar Rapids. He drove a long way to come see me, and I appreciate him. I took a nice picture with him, and you know what? And this is why you do it too, by the way. As much as I just talk shit about all of this, and then I meet someone like that, and I'm like, oh, wow. You know, you have fans. You have people out there, and you're like, you know what? I enjoy that. So the people that have come here all the time, and you're here, and you're like watching, or you see me in public, or you come to my show, I appreciate you. Thank you. And it's the reason why I keep doing this, you know. Small but mighty. Janine, another one of my good fans, says, thank you for watching Sinners, but damn, I near forgot what happened in the movie. It was so long ago. Hey, you know, stuff happens when it happens. Somebody said, Eric, you should record a Christmas album. I know you want to. Oh, God, I would love to record a Christmas album. Chestnuts roasting on an open fire. Jack Frost nipping at your nose. I would be jamming on a Christmas album. All right, here we go. What else here? Whatever. Somebody put the Sinners review. Yeah, I thought there was a good comment I wanted to read. Well, you know what? We'll get into it because somebody said right here, Battlefield 6 awesome. I've been playing it for decades, and they knocked this one out of the park. I'm hoping BO7 is great too. All right, well, you know, let's get into it, man. So, my gaming experience started when the pandemic hit, actually, you know. Pandemic hit, and we were just at home, you know, and I was like, all right, I was already gaming with some friends anyway. I used to play this game Destiny with Bobby and Steve Lee all the time. We would just play till, man, those were the days, man. That was pre-COVID. I wasn't in a relationship. It was just me, Bobby, and Steve yelling at each other till 6 o'clock in the morning sometimes playing this Destiny. And I played Destiny for years. I never was addicted to a game like Destiny before. It was just, I think this started with Candy Crush. I think Candy Crush figured out a metric, an algorithm, to get people to play a game over and over and over again with a sort of casino vibe. And the idea that you just pay some money to play and you could just keep playing, keep winning. There was something about that. And I think video games started to see... Wait, excuse me. My God. I think video game creators were like, you know, we're spending so much money on a game. I'll give you an example of a game, like Infamous. I love Infamous on PS5, PlayStation, I mean. That is a fantastic open world game. But here's what happens, the psychology of it, in my opinion. You play a game like that, and once the game ends, like you killed the final boss or whatever, there is something in your head that you're like, I'm done with this game. Okay? I'm done. I don't need to play this anymore, and you move on. It's just what happens. I'm just telling you what happens in my head. Even if it's a great game, your favorite game, you love playing it, but once there's no more objectives, you're done. You need an objective. Games are best when they have an objective. So then Destiny comes along and they go, all right, you know what? We're not going to have a final boss. We're going to have a thing called raids, which is going to be this super hard game mode that only like 2 or 3% of gamers are going to be able to complete it. But you try to achieve that by ranking up your guns, by getting skins, by getting powers. And then what's going to happen is we're going to keep it going. We're going to keep it going. We're going to keep adding and subtracting, and we're going to change the maps. And so the game is ongoing, open world. It never ends. You have these objectives. You have to finish this mission, and once you finish this mission, you get prizes. And then you can do that mission again and get different prizes. And then now you spend $200 million on making a video game. Once you do that now, you don't have to worry about it being done and it's a waste. No, now that same game product, you could just keep it going and going and going. GTA, you know, Grand Theft Auto is a great example of this. That's almost a 15-year game and people are still playing it online. It's still one of the highest streamed games, highest played games. So they had a game like that where they had this like massive map. But even in that game, by the way, there was a final boss. But that's one of the few games I've played like 3 or 4 times to try to complete it. Because you try to complete it in a different way because it had missions and objectives. One of my favorite games ever, I would say my favorite game ever actually, was Batman Arkham Knight. That is such a great game. Oh my God. Just the mechanics of the fighting, the missions, the fact that it was open world, the Batmobile, all that stuff. But the problem was, once you finished it, even if you didn't achieve all of your perks being Batman, you lost interest. You were like, okay, I'm done with this. Spider-Man on PlayStation, same thing. Spider-Man's a great game. Both of them, whatever ones they have out, it's great. And you know, you keep ranking up your Spider-Man powers. But the problem is, you finish the game before you get all your Spider-Man powers. Now you would think that, well, maybe if you're OCD like that and you're like, I gotta get all my powers. But to me, psychologically, there was something about it that I was like, I lost interest. So anyway, cut to then, pandemic comes and, you know, we're playing Destiny and then something magical happened, okay? You had this game called PUBG, all right? And the game mode, Battle Royale. A Battle Royale is the greatest game mode ever created. It is the ultimate objective. It forces everybody to move. So if you don't know what a Battle Royale is, it's usually like you have this big map and there's like a circle of, you know, smoke or fire or whatever it is. And every round it closes and closes and closes. And so you have to survive this till the end. And if you're the last person or last team standing, could be a solo, duo, trio, or quads. If your team is left standing in the end, you win. And there's no better feeling in video games than that, other than a sports game when you're playing like Madden versus your friends. Okay? But take sports out of it. Sports games out of it, you know? Because like, still FIFA, if I have to think of the games I've been addicted to, I would say the games I've been addicted to, FIFA, like addicted. You know, I used to play FIFA like, oh my God. But that's the most frustrating game in history. But anyways, regardless of that, FIFA, Destiny, and Call of Duty. These are games that I was like, I am just completely addicted to. All right? But forget sports games. So you have this thing. Now, the reason why I got out of Destiny, I'll tell you, Destiny, multiplayer games like Call of Duty is a multiplayer game. Battlefield's a multiplayer game. And Call of Duty is a multiplayer game. So multiplayer games, for the people that don't know, for the people that are like, what are you talking about, Griffin? Why are you talking about games? I'll explain. So multiplayer games are like, you drop in with a team of like, 6, sometimes all the way up to 16 people. And you're battling these like objectives versus another 16 people or whatever, however many numbers. And there's different objectives that you like the two teams are going. But the problem with a multiplayer game is you don't have to follow the objective. It's not a forced objective. There's no penalty if you don't do the objective. So what it ends up turning into is just a bunch of people running around killing each other, and then they're doing it because you could play multiplayer to rank up your guns in the game, but you're not really playing this objective. But multiplayer was great. It was dominating. It was the king of gaming until BR. When the BR came in, the Battle Royale, now you can still do all that. You can run around, you're trying to kill people at the same time, but also you have to play this objective. And there's something thrilling about being the last team. I remember my first Warzone victory in Call of Duty. I remember when I was the last, I screamed and I was like, yeah! It was just something like, it was this adrenaline rush you got from that. And if you could create that in people, you got something magical. Now, you don't feel that with multiplayer. You just don't. You just don't. They did until they found something that was even greater. And you just don't. The only multiplayer game that makes you feel like that is when it's like a deathmatch game where it's like, whoever has one person left, at least a minimum of one person left, or if you wipe the other team completely, you win. Now, there's something about that. That's like competition. That's like a sport, So those multiplayer games are great, but all the other ones are just like, yeah, you're just running around, you're doing your thing, So then PUBG comes out. And then Call of Duty makes Blackout. Blackout, to me, is still the hardest BR I've ever played. Because I never won one. You drop in, you had to pick guns up off the ground, and you had to be the last person standing with a circle that was closing, a constant circle that was closing. And when the circle closed on you, whoever, again. So then, then there was Fortnite. And then Fortnite changed gaming forever. Like Fortnite was like the most popular, it's still a super popular game. And then, and this is the thing, it never ends. There's no end. This is just something you just play every time. And then they added, like, you could be Indiana Jones, you could be Darth Vader, you could be, you had these different characters and skins that you would buy, and there's guns and the skins for the guns, and this is what you were trying to achieve. And at the same time, you kept playing and playing and playing. And the game maker didn't have to change the core game. They would just add new maps, or they would add new guns, or they would add new looks, they would add new characters. But the core game, they didn't have to spend another $250 million to make the game. And then people are still playing it, That was why I stopped buying like 2K and Madden and those kind of games, man, because it was like, this is the same game. Why are you making a new game when it's the same game? So I'm paying another $50? And so you just kind of go, I'm not doing that anymore. But with these games, a lot of times they give it away for free because you have to get a thing called a battle pass. The battle pass is another money maker. So you have this game where you don't have to upgrade the game, and then you have a battle pass where, it's like a tree of things that you have to like achieve. And then so you could buy the battle pass, and then they'll give you like, special skins, special gun skins, and, special characters that you get with the battle pass, and you pay for that. So they found different ways to make money, and they found different ways to make people engaged in the game, So, and I think BR is just like, there's nothing like it, in my opinion. There is nothing like dropping into the BR by yourself or with your teammates, working as a team or using strategy to become the last player standing. So I was playing, Call of Duty, and I didn't like the multiplayer because I was like, this isn't the same thing. And then they dropped Warzone, and it changed everything. I don't like Fortnite because I feel like it's too cartoony, and I think the movement is too the movement's too rigid. You know, it's real basic graphics, but you know, I think it's the fun of the BR fun is what I'm saying. Call of Duty comes out and the game mechanics is the best. There isn't anything better than Call of Duty for game mechanics in terms of how the players, the game feels when the joystick's in your hand. Like you feel like you have ultimate control over this character. So then I've been playing Call of Duty ever since. Warzone dad over here, you know. I'm playing Call of Duty, and then the Resurgence comes out. You know the Resurgence, which is a smaller map. So the Resurgence is like, you know, it's the same BR, but you get to come back if you die. If your teammates are still alive, you could come back, and so that's a smaller map, and it's just fast paced, and then every time you win, you get a thrill. You know, and so I've been playing Call of Duty ever since. But then Call of Duty's had these issues, man. You know, these game makers, they have these cheats. You know, they got this Cronus device you hook up, and everybody's cheating. And my honest opinion about that is, I think that that's ruined esports. I think that the game companies, they should have invested in anti-cheats in a way that you can ensure the integrity of your game. Because you have to have integrity of the game if you're going to have people show up to stadiums to watch players play. But because of the pandemic and everybody being at home, because esports was about to blow up big time, and then the pandemic hit. And then what happened is, it was just these kind of gamer guys, gamer nerds at home, you know, getting 45 kills on the game, cheating, making a ton of money from Twitch and YouTube gaming and Facebook gaming, because that's all people were doing. It was just gaming. You know, people were just watching at home and playing themselves, you know. And so that just started a market of like, people were just selfish. All the gamers are selfish. All the big streamers, they're selfish, man. And some of them are real cool dudes. I know some of them, but it's just about them. It's about them getting a Ferrari, about them buying a house. And then the people that are watching at home, they don't care. They support. It's similar to comedy, man. Actually, they support the people that they like. They like the cute gamer guy or the gamer girl. Oh, and the gamer girls. Oh, my God. They're just like, but you know, they got in their cosplay outfits in hot tubs and playing the games, cheating. You know what I mean? Like, anyways, all of that vibe to me killed esports because there's no integrity. You know, there's just no, like, and you have to believe that there is. When you're watching an esports event, you have to believe as a viewer that this person is winning on their skills alone. Whether it's true or not, you need to believe it. And Activision, Call of Duty, they don't care. If they cared about cheaters, the cheater situation would be handled already. They don't care. And in effect, that company alone has killed esports. A thing that could have been a billion-dollar business. I mean, esports was climbing to the point where it would have been like, oh man, this is just like hockey or basketball or something. You know, they were filling up arenas. Kids, you know, 16-year-olds are winning these big prizes, and they ruined it. They absolutely ruined it. But Call of Duty was the best game in town. You know, it just, you know, they didn't care. They were making $4 or $5 billion a year off their skins and the battle pass, and you know, people were still playing. And then, you know, I think they want the big streamers to play the game. You know, some of the biggest streamers had like 30,000 people watching them at a time. And then you're at home like, oh, I want to play that game. And then you have the chance to think, oh, if I drop in, I can play with that person, you know. So there was a lot of factors, and I think that Call of Duty had a great mix of skill. Like, no matter what level you're at, you had a chance. You felt like that. And that's one of the reasons why I stopped playing Destiny, was because you just don't have a chance against these like high-skilled players in Destiny. They had this thing called Trials of Osiris. You know, it's like a real competitive multiplayer mode. there was a time I was playing, I was like, oh, I'm never going to win this. I never felt I had a chance. And once you feel like that, you're out. Call of Duty, I always feel like I have a chance. I always feel like I can win. And even if I play 30 games in a row and I don't win, that 31st game, when I win, it was all worth it. You know, not all the games feel like that. I think that Fortnite, the problem with Fortnite is like, if they would change how you armored up, that game would be better. Because Fortnite is just a third-party game. You see two people getting in a fight, you know their power's down, you just go over and then you wipe them out. And then somebody does the same to you, and that's just how Fortnite works. I mean, you know, you have to have that stupid... Like, if they took away the dumb potion shit in Fortnite, Fortnite would be 10 times better. That's just my opinion, okay? These are my opinions. All right, so then... All right, anyways, so Call of Duty, great movement. All right, so last year, Battlefield, I'd never played Battlefield before, but everybody was talking about it. My boy Dane Cook oh man, Dane was like, wait till Battlefield comes out. Wait till Battlefield comes out. And he was like, all right. I was like, all right, man. So I spent $100 on Battlefield. It comes out, and they don't have a BR. That is the dumbest company. Like, at the time, when they came out, I was like, this is the stupidest company in the history of companies. Like, the arrogance to think that your stupid game with your dumb multiplayer modes was going to stop people from playing Call of Duty, Fortnite, PUBG, Apex Legends is another one that came out. Apex is another one. And they thought, oh yeah, we don't need a BR. Hey, we don't need a BR. Hey, we're EA and we don't need a BR. Yeah, you do, stupid bitch. You do. Okay? One of the biggest failures in gaming history. They had to refund people money. The game was so bad. That you go to one of those server apps where it's like, website, who's playing the game right now? You'd go to that one, and it would be like 10,000 people worldwide playing the game. You know? So, you know, I don't know. Anyways. So, it was a failure. So I was like, yuck. So I'm playing Call of Duty, but then I'm getting frustrated with Call of Duty with the cheaters, man. The cheaters. So then Battlefield 6 is about to come out. And they say, we're going to have a BR. And I think that hopefully they fired whoever made the last game. And these other guys were like, okay, let's see what Call of Duty has going on. And let's take some of the things from that and we'll make the better game for it. You know what I mean? We'll take the stuff from it. You know what I mean? You know, and so then they did that, you know? I think that one of the problems with Call of Duty is that the big gamer people are always complaining about the same shit, you know what I mean? Oh, we're holding hands, you know, you're camping in the corners. You know what I mean? And it's like no, it's like, my thing is like, go play multiplayer if all you want to do is get kills. I want to win the game. And I'm going to do whatever strategy it takes to win the game. And I think Battlefield appeals to those people. So Battlefield comes out, I start playing. At first I don't like it. It's a little slow. The mechanics are just slightly different. But then this BR comes out with the gauntlet mode, and I love it. I stopped playing Call of Duty. And here's the thing that happened too. I went to Call of Duty. I started playing it. Again, I ran into a cheater. And I know people think, oh man, everybody thinks people are cheating. I was like, this guy was blatantly cheating. I reported it, and I turned the game off and went back to Battlefield. A few days later, I went back to Call of Duty to check because I was on the road. Sure enough, I got a confirmed report. So that guy was cheating. So I'm like, wow. So then that just let me know. So, you know, now I'm full on Battlefield. I'm a Battlefield bro now. And I think the game, now, let's say, now my full review of this is, I like the Battlefield mode. I like the modes. I like the ranking up of the guns. I think it takes a long time, and I think that's by design. So you have to keep playing. I don't like the UI. I think the UI is terrible. The user interface, same thing with Call. I think they're both terrible. But other than that, it's fun. And then when you play with your friends, it's really fun. But once you get into the game, then you can start to drop into some of these like multiplayer modes, and now you have a purpose because you're like, oh, I need to get 5 headshots with this sniper, so let me do that. And at the same time, it forces you to move forward in the objective. That's something else I think they got from Call of Duty. It was like, you know what? We need to force an objective and make people play. So I like that. I don't like the big map in Battlefield. Not the map itself. I don't like the gameplay of it. They don't have loadouts like Call of Duty, and I think they should. Like, you can go get your gun, but I think it's boring. I think the Battlefield RedSec BR is super boring. You fly in, unless you get full action right away, sometimes you're playing that game for 10, 15 minutes and you haven't run into one person. I don't like that. They got to speed that game up a little bit, maybe drop in more people, and I think that they should give you your loadout. So I think when you go to that loadout drop in Battlefield, I think they should give you all your stuff, all your perks, all your, you know what I mean? Like if you're a recon, an engineer. I also like that on Battlefield, by the way. I like that they have different classes of things and how they work together, So if you're a sniper, you're a recon person, they give you these sort of like sniper gadgets to help you, like some binoculars, or like you're that person, and then you have like an assault person that means you can have 2 guns, and you have like, it's all explosives and stuff. And then you have like a different person that's like, that heals people quickly and drops ammo. I mean, I like how they said, let's make people work together. And I think they did a good job, and I think it can only get better. So that being said, yeah, and by the way, the Battlefield is just like Warzone is free. The Battlefield BR is free too, so I do suggest you download it and play it. But that being said, I think that the game is going to get better. I think that Battlefield, they made up for the failures of Battlefield 5. I think it's a great game, and the game's so great, it stopped me from playing a game that I was addicted to. People for years asking me, "Is this all you play? You only play this?" I was like, "Yeah, this is the best game ever." Now I'm over it. I still think Call of Duty is great. And my reasons for not playing it right now are the gun balancing. Why have 200 guns in a game and people only use 2 of them because you've made it overpowered? Like, the people that make Call of Duty, they're either idiots or trolls. It's got to be one or the other. Because some of the choices and decisions they make, I go, why? You are ruining this beautiful game. And they have. And they're suffering for it now. I think Battlefield has stepped in a way that they're like, here we go, baby. So that being said, in conclusion of this, if I even made sense at all to anybody, Battlefield's a great game, y'all. It's a great game. I suggest you download it and play it. I'm not getting no money for this. I'm just saying, I'm just giving my review. I think it's, the challenges that they give you, I think are great. The objectives are great, and I think that you get a good thrill when you win. I think that it's achieved that, and so, yeah. Battlefield review with Erik Griffin. Okay, guys. Lastly is I finally saw Jurassic World. Can I just do a quick review of Jurassic World? It's like, it wasn't terrible and it wasn't great. That's all. It's just the kind of thing that they didn't do anything new. It's like you have an island that has dinosaurs. The people go, all hell breaks loose. The only good thing I enjoyed in this movie was sort of in the beginning how they are saying hey, it's been 30 years. Nobody cares about dinosaurs anymore. And I thought that was ironic because nobody cares about Jurassic Park anymore, But it made a lot of money, so maybe they do. But I think that Scarlett Johansson is she's a movie star. I think Scarlett Johansson is legit movie star. And when you see her on the screen, you believe her. And you're like, okay, I'll follow this chick. Let's go. This 5'1" chick is a soldier. I think that she's proven that she has that aura on screen. So I thought it was good. But overall, I thought that The story was trash. It's just like another stupid story about going to this island to get something from it because they need it for something else. And then the dinosaurs kill everybody. I mean, it's like, at what point are we going to stop with that storyline? You know? So, and I hear they're making another one. So it's like the JCU is still going strong, man. So I would say if you're on a plane, watch this movie. If you have Peacock, watch this movie. I mean, this wouldn't be a movie. If it was in theaters right now, it would be a waste of money, in my opinion. Unless you just want some popcorn, guilty pleasure. You know what? I need an escape. I think it's great for that. I'm not going to completely trash the movie because I think that, you know, I'm okay with guilty pleasures, and this is one of those mindless ones. It's not a groundbreaking movie at all. You're going to go, you're going to know exactly what's going to happen. You know who's going to die. You're going to want him to die. You know what I mean? It's like there's nothing fresh, there's nothing new, there's nothing interesting about this movie. But that being said, I still think it's enjoyable to watch. Somebody asked me about Frankenstein. I have not watched Frankenstein, but I will. But guys, listen, if you're in the Lincoln, Nebraska area, come check your boy out this weekend. I'll be there on Friday in Lincoln, Nebraska at Howler's Comedy Club. And then I'll be in Austin, Minnesota on Saturday. It's going to be a 5-hour drive, but I hear the weather's going to be good. So, you know, it's just easier to drive than it is to fly. It's a whole thing, but I'll be doing that. And then I'll be at Skankfest on Sunday. So come check me out, guys. I appreciate you guys being here. Make sure guys, you know what to do. You got to hit the sub. So you know when I'm going live, you know when I'm putting up videos. Twitch, man, I'll be on the Twitch all the time. Probably going to get on Twitch in like 10 minutes. If you want to check our Battlefield gameplay, come on out to Erik Griffin Gaming on YouTube or Twitch, and you'll see some Battlefield gameplay in about 10 minutes. And my Patreon people, thanks for supporting the show. Oh, yeah, Robotech's coming out. And thanks for chat. The chat that's always here. You guys are supportive. I love you guys. But anyways, guys, that's going to be the show for today. Thanks for watching. Thanks for being here. I'll most likely be on next week. And, I'll keep you posted on what's happening in my world. But, again, thanks for being here. And gotta go. All right, that was the goodbye for the audio people, you YouTube folks, thanks for being here, y'all. I'll see y'all also next